Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. And today, we're not just talking about a support hero. We're talking about control, about tempo, and about a presence on the battlefield that changes everything without even needing to deal direct damage. Because today, we're talking about Octavia, the Queen of Dodge, the Empress consumed by necrotic poison, and a hero that many players still underestimate, until it's too late. At first glance, Octavia doesn't look like a typical threat. She doesn't burst enemies down. She doesn't overwhelm you with raw damage. She doesn't dominate the fight in obvious ways. But that's exactly the trap. Because Octavia doesn't win fights by force. She wins them by breaking the rules of the fight itself. Her entire design revolves around one concept: making the enemy miss. And not just miss once. Not just occasionally. But miss enough that their entire strategy starts to fall apart. And here's where things become dangerous. Because every miss is not just a failure for the enemy. It's an opportunity for you. More energy, more tempo, more control. Octavia is not just helping your team survive. She is accelerating it. She is pushing your team forward, while the enemy struggles to even land a hit. And this is what makes her so powerful. She doesn't just delay defeat. She creates advantage. And then we reach the part that changes everything. Her dodge works against magic damage. Now stop and think about that. Because for years, magic damage has been the answer to dodge. It was the reliable way to break through evasive heroes. And Octavia removes that answer. Suddenly, enemies that should win start losing. Teams that rely on magic pressure start missing. And fights that look predictable become chaotic. And chaos is exactly where Octavia thrives. Now combine that with another layer of her design: targeting. Or more accurately, the inability to target her while her allies are alive. Many enemies simply cannot reach her. And this creates something very rare in the game: uncertainty. The enemy doesn't know who to hit. They don't know when they will hit. And by the time they figure it out, it's already too late. And this is where synergy comes in. Because Octavia alone is powerful. But Octavia with the right heroes is a system. Let's start with one of the most dangerous combinations: Yasmine. Yasmine is already known for one thing: execution. She jumps in. She strikes. And she kills. But she has always had a weakness: survivability. One mistake, one heavy hit, and she's gone. Now place her under Octavia, and everything changes. Suddenly, Yasmine becomes something else. Not just an assassin, but a ghost. She dodges more. She survives longer. She attacks more often. And because of that, she kills more consistently. Her biggest weakness is reduced. Her biggest strength is amplified. And if the enemy doesn't bring control, this duo alone can dismantle brute force teams. That is synergy. Now let's move to Dante. Dante has always been a hero of pressure. Throwing spears, chipping away, reducing stats? But sometimes, that pressure is not enough. Until Octavia enters the fight. Now Dante doesn't just apply pressure. He accelerates it. Every dodge increases his survivability. Every hit becomes more meaningful. Every debuff starts stacking faster. And suddenly, the enemy is not just taking damage. They are losing stats. They are losing power. They are losing control. And because of the way Octavia spreads dodge bonuses, this effect is not isolated. It affects the entire team. That is strategy. Now we look at Iris. And here, things start to speed up. Because Iris benefits from one thing more than anything else. Time. The more time she has, the more souls she collects, the more damage she prepares, and the more devastating her execution becomes. Octavia gives her that time. But more importantly, she gives her energy. Faster ultimates. Faster scaling. Faster execution. And what you start to see is a process. Enemies begin the fight. And before they realize it, they are already marked. Already weakened. Already condemned. That is control. And now, we bring in Drayne? Because Drayne is simple. He doesn't play games. He doesn't control. He finishes. His role is clear. Ult. And destroy? And what does he need for that? Time. Energy. And weakened enemies. Octavia gives him all of it. Dodges create space. Energy accelerates his ultimate. Debuffs from the team reduce enemy resistance. And when Drayne strikes, he doesn't struggle. He executes. This is the business. And this is why Octavia is so powerful. She doesn't carry fights alone. She enables them. She transforms other heroes into better versions of themselves. She breaks tempo-based teams. She disrupts predictable strategies. She punishes mistakes faster than the enemy can react. And most importantly, she creates opportunities. Because when the enemy starts missing, when their damage disappears, when their timing breaks, your team takes over. And that is what Octavia is. Not just a support. Not just a defensive tool. But a controller of the fight itself. So Guardians, now we turn to you. Have you experienced this? Have you seen how Octavia changes the battlefield? Have you found combinations that push her even further? Because this is just the surface. And as the game evolves, as new heroes arrive, as new synergies appear, Octavia will only become more dangerous. Stay tuned, stay sharp. And as always, salute and friendship.